But at some point, the resume is far less important than living your life. I'm Leah Martin, and I've been a practicing attorney since 2002. I spent my first 9 years working for other people and thinking that that's what I wanted my whole life to look like. But I also didn't want to be treated the way that I found I was treated in those other environments. It was very toxic cultures that I was working in. And what I knew is I wanted to create an environment where people wanted to show up every day, where they felt lifted up, not torn down. And that's why I created Leah Martin Law in 2011. And over that time, it's grown from just me sitting in my loft and doing work to just under 20 people in 3 different markets. And we're having a lot of fun every day. While I was building my law firm, I was also raising little kids and I was in the achievement mentality. Yes, I wanted to make more money, but I also was a yes person. And I've always been a yes person. I wanted to be part of every club in high school, try all the sports, do all the things. And that carried forward into college, where I was involved in and a leader in every organization, and into my adult life, where I joined all the groups. I got on all the boards. I did all the things except having fun. I was busy all the time. So if you want a full cup, it was full, but it was not full of the right things. In past years, my normal everyday workday would look like a whole lot of busy and not a lot of taking care of myself. A lot of times I would get maybe a few hours of sleep a night, and oftentimes not consecutive, because I would let myself take a nap for maybe 30 or 45 minutes, be back up and work until I literally couldn't work anymore. I was, working 24/7 when my kids were at their activities and sports. I was in the car working or in the waiting room working. So what was missing was fun, fulfillment, achieving my bucket list items, but I sure was checking a lot of boxes and building up a great resume along the way. Yeah, it definitely felt like an intervention to have your kids tell you you need to get a life, to tell you that you need to out to a bar or do something fun, and that book club isn't it. Like, book club is work instead of just fun. They wanted me to have actual fun with peers instead of just hanging out with them all the time. So it was, a big wake up call, because I didn't want to model a life that's all about work and not about play for my kids. I feel like I didn't know any other way before they brought this to my attention. It's how I had lived my whole life as someone who is super busy, who was involved in everything, who, you know, I think growing up, even, I was very focused on building a resume so that I could get the scholarship, or building the resume so I could get into the best law school, or building the resume for that first job. And that carries forward. But at some point, the resume is far less important than living your life. Like, we can work hard, but still have fun while we do it. And you can take a pause and implement something fun into every single day. So it might be, we may have some, like, the blue bubbles all around our office, where people can pull out bubbles and just like blow bubbles because it feels good for a few minutes. Like, I've literally been known to go out and splash in the puddles if it actually rains in Vegas, which isn't too often. Um, there's something you can do that you enjoy, and you have to build that in. You have to build in the time for play. Right now, for me, tennis is like my number one play thing, because I get to run around and hit balls really hard, and it's awesome. I may not be good, but it's still like so cathartic at the end of a day to get to go run and hit balls. I make time to go play with my friends, and oftentimes that looks like going on a hike or going on a walk or going to the gym. But if I didn't build that into my everyday schedule, it wouldn't happen. So every weekend, I look at my calendar for the next week and I build that in. I make sure I have play happening every day in my life. And so I think a lot of women feel like they can't invest in themselves because they need to take care of everyone else. They, can't spend time and money on doing the things that they dream about because that time and that money should be spent on others. And I think that a lot of that is the way women are raised. That's what we're told in society, that we're the nurturers, we're the caregivers, and we're not worth it. We don't get to have it. But that's what we all need to overcome. By actually investing in our happiness, we're better wives and better mothers and better children and career people because it helps our energy, it helps our motivation, it helps our drive, and we're just nicer to be around if we're happy. I'm definitely nicer when I'm happy. I think a lot of people continue to say yes, and then we read books, which like the Year of Yes, which I love the book. Don't get me wrong, but maybe you shouldn't say yes to everything. I'm gonna actually go with a firm, like you should not say yes to everything. The year of no maybe should be a thing for people. And actually, when I do my annual planning for myself, which is coming up, I'm coming up on a birthday, and that's when I do my annual review for myself. It's called the Year of Leah. I don't have to have the same year as you do. And when I do that, one of the things that's kind of come up year after year when I'm doing my annual goals is to say no, but not to everything. I say no to the things that are not fun or that will not build my business, preferably both. So if I can have fun or I can build my business, it might be a yes, but it's not going to be a yes if it's going to interfere with the things I want to do. So if I want to go play tennis, I'm not going to say yes to going to a networking event. If I want to actually get sleep, I may not go to a gala. I'm not going to. I think that for me, yes is no longer a default option, it's the exception. I definitely believe in community and especially communities of women because we have so much to offer each other. We've all been there. We're all, either on that path at one point or another, from, being young career people and advancing through our careers and our lives towards retirement. And we've all experienced different things. Some of us are married, some of us aren't, some have kids, some don't. We've all had different experiences, but we all have a lot of commonalities where by having that community, we can support each other. We can give guidance, we can give community, friendship, empowerment. That first is the community. It's the face to face, it's the small group interactions where I think you can get so much more value than just reading it or listening to it in a book format. Living La Vita Ladies is all about having that more, having the things that you want in life, or maybe once you knew you wanted, but you kind of forgot about it because you've been so focused on career and family and everything else in life. Maybe you never realized you wanted it because it's something that you always thought was out of your reach. But whatever you want to accomplish is still possible. We believe that, figure out the path to get there, and that's where we can help. But also, we can just have some fun along the way. We have the adventures, we have retreats, we have like just local fun events. So the fun can be handed to you, or you can create your own path by figuring out what you want to accomplish and making that plan to get there. If someone is fired up on life, we want them there. If someone is frustrated with life and doesn't like know what they want their tomorrow to look like, we want them there. It's really that I want to like experience more. I want to live more. I want more fun. I may not know exactly how I'm going to get there, and I may have some roadblocks along the way, but I know it's possible. Now, if they don't know it's possible, there's a spot for them too. We can definitely, who just wants more is perfect for us. If someone is 100% satisfied with the life as they have it, maybe they don't need to be there. Maybe they do need to be there because they just don't understand that that more is out there. Like, get out there, have some fun, and reach for your dreams. By 10 words or less. Maybe 15 or less. I'm an attorney. Like, it's hard to be like minimalistic in my words.